There you are. All right, it's Marky Bilson, your voice of choice for a new generation of Tri-City sports fans. The name of the program is Tri-City Sports Now, where we own the Tri-Cities on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio. The reason why, the best guess, the hardest hitting opinions. I'm also the Southern Conference guy. Actually, you know what? I don't like that term, guy. I think it's a little disrespectful. I mean, I'm not going to go pull my hair out over it or so, but you've got, let me just put it this way. The idea of, I used to be known, put it here. When I was doing play-by-play for a minor league baseball team that no longer exists, sometimes I would get, he's the radio guy. We broadcast our games on the internet. But doesn't play-by-play broadcaster sound a little bit better than radio guy? I mean, anyway, a little more, and there was a level of respect with the way you're treated when you're called play-by-play broadcaster, voice of the team, or radio guy. So, Southern Conference, how about Southern Conference expert? I'm the Southern Conference expert. That's proven because today I'm going to have Jay McCauley on at 1:15 to talk about his new men's basketball team. That's right, the new head coach at Wofford. And what with last week, Jerome Rodriguez leaving ETSU, suddenly what appeared to be ETSU's race to lose next year is now a two-horse race. Well, with a new coach at Wofford. So, we'll be talking, will Fletcher McGee make the NBA? All sorts of stuff here. So that's at 1:15. Our old friend Jerry Bonkowski at 1, talking about the NASCAR off week. And at 1:30, our old friend SoCon John Hooper talking about, the Southern Conference and Jerome Rodriguez leaving and all the other good stuff going on. I know spring practice is over, but nevertheless. All right, though. I think the big story today in Tennessee, though, Predators about to lose to the Dallas Stars. Or are they? Last two games have been very disappointing. Do you realize that the Stars franchise had never scored 5 goals in back-to-back playoff games since they arrived in Dallas in the 90s? When they won the Stanley Cup 20 years ago, they did not have 2 playoff games in which they scored 5 goals. Think about that. But they did these last 2 games against a team, the Predators, known for their defense. So, people are asking, is it time for Juuse Saros, backup goaltender extraordinaire of the Nashville Predators? And so, on a team that plays 82 games in a regular season, you ask yourself, as someone who had, 17 decisions. His record was, I forget the overtime losses, but it was 17-10 was his record this year with Saros. Do you want to put him in net over a legend? Pekka Rinne. That's the question. Look, the last 2 games for the Predators have been listless, uninspired, and Rinne has allowed some soft goals. Okay, Alexander Radulov. That goal in the second period that gave the Stars the lead on Saturday, Rinne was like chained to the right side of the net, for crying out loud. It was wide open after they did the cross-ring pass. You're like, what, did he not see that? And then Jason Dickinson's goal to salt the game away, make it 5-2. That was clearly a goal Rinne should have stopped, as it was lofted over his glove hand. And if you're just getting into hockey, here's the deal. That's sort of like a pass ball in baseball. Let's just say fastball comes, batter swings and misses, and the catcher doesn't catch it. That's what it looked like with Dickinson to put the Stars up 5-2. So Predators fans might be justified if they wish for Laviolette to change netminders, because Juuse Saros is the netminder in waiting, and he's gonna be eventually, we think, the Predators' starting goalkeeper. That's a soccer term, goaltender. Yeah. But the thing is, last year, I was really critical of Laviolette for pulling Rinne out of the first period of their 7th game playoff loss in the Winnipeg Jets second round NHL playoffs. I know the score was 3-0, but, here was Rinne. He had just shut out the Jets to put the Predators in this position. Looked absolutely like desperation. Saros wasn't that much better. Team goes on to lose 5-1. But it really did start to, I think, some doubts about Rinne, who was up to that time being called the NHL's best goaltender by, the Tennessee Lottery, but not by, it was up there in the mix. He was a Vezina Trophy finalist. Anyway, Saros needed to shut out the Jets. He didn't. I thought the move was a panic move. I thought that it said, we've lost 10 minutes into the playoff game. And sure enough, the Jets did lose, the Predators President's Trophy finalists did lose to the Jets, a lesser team, who, of course, also lost to the Blues this year in the playoffs. Anyway, here's the deal, though. If you start UC Saros tonight, his era has arrived. We can effectively kiss off Rinne. It's only a matter of time. And Saros will either succeed or take over as the Preds' full-time goalie. If he does succeed, why would you go back to Rinne? Or he'll fail and be a never was. And in some ways, you kill his career that way. There will not be the confidence in the net for the Predators henceforth if a move is made. And Saros doesn't excel. Look, I know Rinne's 36, but Saros is always going to be trying to live up to his high standards. Now, let's face this fact. If you do make the switch and it propels the Preds to the Cup, and with the favorites going down left and right, maybe you've got a better chance at that this season. Okay. But it's still, wait a minute. Even at 36, don't you just think that Pekka Rinne is the guy to lead you to the Stanley Cup, and not someone who didn't play as much this past year? Didn't have the GSAA. I think it was 8 goals lower for Saros this year than it was for Rinne. Now, you can tell me all you want to about, Pekka the last 2 games against Dallas, but his play included several highlights. Remember, first period, he had those successive 3 saves, keeping the, game 1-0. First goal he allowed was after an awful turnover from the Preds defenseman. And even our Radulov goal came after Rocco Grimaldi, who's had a great series for the Predators, but he was inserted to, add speed to the Nashville Predators. He got beaten to the puck along the boards, raced to the puck. Stars kick it out, punch it in, tie the game. Look, I know that his performance in Game 4 wasn't that good, but in fact, it wasn't good at all. Rinne isn't the reason the Preds could be the 4th highest seeded team. How should I say this? The 4th higher seeded team in 5 series to make an exit in the first round of the playoffs. He's not the only reason. And in fact, he's probably a very small reason. Because I know the Preds roster is deep, but we know the power play in this series, as well as the entire year, has been awful. Blue liners have shown age. And yeah, there's a lot of talk about what is the chemistry of the Nashville Predators. So, the Predators this year did score 30 more goals than the Dallas Stars. But both Radulov and Tyler Seguin had more points than anyone on Nashville's roster this year. But the Preds only won 4 more games than the Stars this season. Consider that. And yeah, Dallas's Ben Bishop has not only been the better goalie during the playoffs than anyone has had in net for Nashville, he was the better goalie this year all season long. I guess not all year long, but all season long. Season began in October, so yeah. He did it in the regular season as well. Check out the stats. Look, Rinne's a legend and Saros is at best an up-and-comer. 12 years younger and sandwiching 2 good games. Look, Saros allowed only 1 goal after Rinne's poorest performance in Game 4. He also shut out the Minnesota Wild on March 25th. That was his penultimate start of the regular season. But in his final start on March the 30th, Saros lost 5-2 to the now red-hot Columbus Blue Jackets. And look, I know Rinne was given a contract extension this last year, but maybe the time now for Saros is sooner than later. Certainly if the Predators go down tonight, even though Lavalette kind of promised a victory today, but what does that mean? I mean, we somehow think that, he's touched by some sort of magic wand of Joe Namath. I mean, come on, Question, though, is it time for Saros now? And I'm not 100% convinced it is. Pekka Rinne has started almost 90 straight playoff games for the Nashville Predators. Only 2 years away from taking that 8th-seeded team to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I got to tell you, turning to Saros at this point to win a Stanley Cup, that really reeks of desperation. All right, I'm Marky Bilson. I'm the only guy around that could actually give you this sort of hockey talk on Tri-Cities Sports Radio. Some people will say they don't care. Those people are usually about 300 years old. If you really want to get down to it, go outside, see the people wearing Predators gear. They're all over. So, like I said, Saturday, a very disappointing game on national TV. There's no way around it. The Stars right now, they look to be the better team. And as I said in my commentary, they only won 4 fewer games all year long. But it's not over yet, certainly. And the thing is, it's tonight, it's in Dallas. And it's really is must-win for both teams, I think. Nashville obviously has to win to stay alive. Dallas, they don't want to go back to Nashville. Home ice advantage perhaps not as big as it is in other sports. I don't think it's that big of a deal at all. But I do think that, you get the last line change. It's just like in baseball, coming up at bat the second time. I mean, the rules do favor the home team a bit. So you've got that. Anyway, just to retaliate, we've got coming up at 1 o'clock, Jerry Bonkowski. Then we have 1:15, Jay McCauley, the new Wofford men's basketball coach. And then at 1:30, it's SoCon John Hooper. Until then, I've got some highlights of, the NHL playoffs. I've got some sad news. I've got some news on, the NFL draft. It's all over. We've got baseball. Tri-Cities Sports Now. We're coming back after this on 1420 WEMB Sports Radio. And check us out on www.jetbroadcasting.live, as well as my own personal Facebook page, or even YouTube, or like me on Instagram. You get the idea.